Guys, I've been waiting so much to use this character. I kid you not. Excuse me. Perhaps one of my favorite characters in the entire series, to be honest. And yeah. So, I just before I actually get into the guy, like I said, I love Lancelot. He's by far one of my favorites. Guaranteed in the top three. He's either two or the second or third favorite of mine. And he's just so enjoyable to fuck with. I mean, whether you're good at him or not, like, I am trash as the guy. Sort of, anyway. It's like, compared to other people, Sassy, leave the damn bag alone. Whether you're good at him or not, I mean, he's always just a pleasure to play as, just because. But, I mean, he was such a pleasure to play as. He's one of the very few servants on my list, like, that I actually chose to play some battles on my own accord, besides the, on my main account, he's one of the very few I've actually taken a liking to playing as. I was just scrolling through so everyone could see the different, whatchamacallits, and I have some good news. I could finally use my damn computer again. It's no longer being a dip, and I can finally, keep my screen full and not have to pull up the comments, so I could see that, so I can see everything, and I will say, yes, this motherfucker is slow. Like, he is tremendously slow, and I hate that, actually. Despite how quick he is in the anime, he is surprisingly slow in the game. Which, I really don't give two shits. Like, you would think because of his, oops. Whoopsies. You would think because of how, he's not the strongest at all, how you would think he would make that up in speed or something like that, but really he's the weakest berserker in the entire game. And speaking about, class-wise, he's the first berserker in the entire game you get to play as. I will just, so far we've went over Lancers, Riders, Casters. No, I don't think we've actually went over a Caster yet. No, she's a Lancer. She's a fucking Lancer. I keep thinking she's a Caster. Shut up. But yeah, we've went over everything. And, he's the first Berserker we play as, but he is the weakest. Surprisingly, actually. Even though Berserker classes are known to be strong, it's funny because a base Saber can actually pass him up skill-wise. Oh, Tamino is a caster. Shit, I keep forgetting who's who. Shit. This is why... Hold on, let me flip to the other pic. Oh, yeah, okay. So I guess, Tamino is a caster. Okay, I'm stupid. See, I'm focused on one guy and I'm talking about multiple people. This is why you don't do that. But yeah, no, he's ultimately fun. He may be the weakest stat-wise, because he has an attack power of 1650 and defense of 1500. However, I would say, despite having such a disadvantage stat-wise compared to his predecessor, berserkers like Lu Bu, who has 2070 attack with a 1650, and Lu Bu actually has the most base power in the entire game. He trumps even the final boss power-wise. So, and then we have our one and only other Berserker, Darius III, with a 1785 and a 1650. Both of those blow Lancelot out of the fucking water. Like, he's not even good enough to even come anywhere close. I feel like, he should definitely be put up there in power-wise, because just simply because he's a berserker, and berserkers should have, high amounts of power, because it is stated in, let me pull it up. It is stated that, profile. It is stated in the Mad Enchantment, a special class trait for berserkers. They become capable of staggering physical violence, but they lose reasoning, thought, and speech and other skills. But pretty much what it does is pretty much, he just boosts the shit out of certain things. Like, they specialize in, nothing besides fighting. So with that, they should be stronger, but he's not. So I'm like, the fuck is wrong with this game? But ultimately, he may not be the strongest, but I still think he trumps both Berserkers, actually. He may not have the base power, but I say his power is actually an infinite loop. Like, he has unlimited potential. And I'm not saying that being funny, like, going up against Lancelot, you have no idea what you're going up against at all. You may know the character's base attacks and shit, but ultimately, with the build, oof. Oh yeah, it does. Still though, Berserker's a Berserker. They should have more power than the base servant. Even a Saber should not, you know, come and match up to a Berserker. Like in Fate Stay Not Unlimited Blade Works, the Berserker fucking blew out every other servant where he was tag teamed by pretty much everybody. The only servant that brought him down on his knees real quickly was in fact Gilgamesh, but that's because Gilgamesh is a bitch. But I mean, but besides that, I think it is safe to say Lancelot is perhaps the deadliest in this entire game because of unlimited potential. The reason why I say unlimited potential is by his stats and his active skills, and even with the install skills, his potential, even if you don't have any install skills and only one active skill, you cannot pinpoint any sort of power on Lancelot. It is so random and you can't. It's one of those skills where it's like, shit, we can't pinpoint the damn power limit on him. And with this build, I've done just that. Hell, actually, I could take off all three of these skills and leave one skill on. Unlimited power. So. But besides talking about that, these are the active skills I like using as Lancelot. And before I get started into what each of these does, I would like to first clarify that when I chose these skills, like this build is not meant for complete badass fighting. I built him kind of joking around and kind of, he's supposed to be for funsies, and that's exactly what this does, but at that same point, he's still just as serious as everybody else. I just thought to put a little bit of this, a little bit of that in there, instead of full-blown must take it serious. So, keep in mind while I go through these skills that some of these were meant just to be kind of a fuckery, but they're still extremely serious. So, with that being said, I would first like to go over the first skill, which is, I'm not even attempting that first word, Noble Phantasm Steel Pillar Throw. And what that means is, initially, we will get to PvP in a minute. Well, actually in about an hour. Who am I kidding? These things take up to an hour, shit. But, I'm gonna state now, the reason why, like it says P-H-A-N, the reason why I said Phantasm is because if you don't know, in the anime, I'm spoiling shit, so you're welcome. Even though I think the second he gets introduced, it tells you that his Noble Phantasm, like, instantly. But, so you don't get confused, it says Noble Phantasm, and Noble Phantasm. That's because the rule upon, like, although it's not his Noble Phantasm in the game, Lancelot's Noble Phantasm is pretty much anything he touches that he recognizes as a weapon becomes a Noble Phantasm. Which can honestly become, like, unlimited amount of power. So, total badass. Let me tell you, this is another reason why, like, anything this guy does, he scholars at, just because he's badass. But that's why I just called it Noble Phantasm. That's why that's just that. And just to save time, I'm not just gonna constantly go and say Noble Phantasm, blah blah blah. I'm just gonna call it like Steel Pillar instead, just because I'm clarifying that they're all Noble Phantasms. Like, although it's not gonna have stupidly ridiculous amount of power, I'm just stating ahead of time, due to the fact that in the anime it is his Noble Phantasm, this is, you know, that's literally, you know, his thing. That's why it's there. It has no more power, less power than a regular attack, so. Oh yeah. Servants used to have only one Nova Phantasm. However, I'm gonna say that Astolfo and Lancelot both blew that entire thing out of the sky when they said "fuck you" and, you know, either start taking multiple Nova Phantasms, or just whatever the hell they wanted. So I will simply put that there. So with that being said, Steel Pillar Throw has an attack of 1439 with a cooldown of 8 seconds. It's a long range attack, and pretty much all you're really gonna do is you're gonna have some fucking pillar, like some poles in your hand initially, like in both hands, and you're pretty much just gonna start sweeping everybody with it. That's literally all he does. Simple yet effective. And although, like, compared to the other ones, like just the Steel Pillar, which has definitely more power to it, which is a close range, I just chose the Pillar Throw because that is just my personal preference. And again, even like, this is one of those few characters which I don't mind most of these skills. Actually, there's a few that I don't use, so, and that's because I suck at using them, such as the protection skill right here. Full screen. I elaborate off that comment. You said full screen, and I'm confused. It must be going over my head, but a good. I would love an explanation to that. But because I actually like multiple skills, I will explain the skills I do like. So, but talking about Steel Pillar, all this is you'll get an iron pole again, and you're pretty much just gonna smack their shit at everybody 3 times. And for the longest time, I use this. This has an attack power of 21.60 and a 11-second cooldown. This is a close range attack, so similar to the Pillar Throws. You know, a Pillar Throw. This is close range, and this is more up in your face, where this one is more ranged attack, which is completely fine with me. And, you know, it's much faster in my opinion than the Steel Pillar, which is why I use Pillar Throw instead. Next, oh fuck, alright. I'm gonna butcher this, so I apologize ahead of time. So, with that being said, I don't care about the range, it's just the feel of the skill. It's not exactly what it actually does, although it does claim to be a long-ranged attack. He's a berserker. I didn't expect it to have any real range on it. It's just one of those. It's one of those feel type of things. Like, that's where I go with some of these skills over other skills. It's not because of stat-wise or what it actually does at usefulness. It's purely off of how it feels in my arsenal and how much I like it. And if I feel like it works well for me, that's what I'll go with. Now, that's also where I say these guides are not meant to be like, oh, that's what this guy recommends. He explained why. I'm just using everything he uses. My playstyle may not work for your playstyle, which is another thing that I keep, you know, I'll say, you know, every so often, if not every time I do these guides. These are still my playstyle. If they don't work, I mean, my playstyle is my playstyle. So, I could just all around anywhere I want, because fuck y'all, I'm that good. But, our next skill, I'm just gonna call it Dite. Fuck it, the, Arendite? Arendite, maybe? I think it's Arendite. I'm gonna go with Arendite, alright? But this has an attack power of 28.80 with a 13-second cooldown. It's a Berserker class skill and is an area attack skill. Pretty much all this is gonna do is you're pretty much gonna, honestly, I forgot what it's actually supposed to do. You'll see it soon enough. Fuck it. That's the best you're gonna get. Now, this skill right here, the Mimicry skill, this is the skill where I say, Lancelot has unlimited power. Oh yeah. I mean, it's not exactly about the speed of the attack. It's just about, not quite about speed nor proficiency. It's just about feel. So, but sometimes, I mean, actually, sometimes slow skills actually do really good. That's actually a good point. Slowest skills, fastest skills, I could care less, actually. Because although, yes, I'm going to smack on, I guarantee the fuck was it called? My, Codecast. That's what it's called. I kept thinking of this stuff, but the Codecast, I will say I will be going for a speed Codecast, because when I need to even out the speed to where at least a decent speed instead of a slow speed for him, that's what that's going to be used for. But I mean, having a slow speed is not a very bad thing at all. As a matter of fact, that's actually rather useful at times, but it's going to take a little bit of predicting and planning of when to use it instead of just using it to use it, because if used at the wrong time it could cost you, but at that right moment, that's when it gets you what you need. High power, slow speed, but let's say you try to use it, your opponent, and it's slow. Your opponent's going to see that and just dodge the way out of it. However, if they're, attacking and they're almost about to hit, and if you activate at the right time, you're going to smack the shit out of your opponent, and there's nothing they can do about it. It's all about timing with these things. And that's where this servant is very useful. That's where, not just with Lancelot, this is where all servants need to be learned of what goes what. So, and because somebody can't help but to call me and can interrupt the shit, I will be right back. You could go and see this, if you're watching this and not just listening to this, you'll see everything on the board, and I'll explain Mimicry in a minute. Maybe. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. Had to take care of something. So, but to explain the Mimicry skill, the reason why I said that Lancelot has unlimited potential is because of this and this solely. Although people would just be like, it has no attack power, how the fuck can this be the skill? It's a special skill. All it does is, honestly, when I seen it, I thought it would be in a Berserker class skill, honestly, because it's exclusive to him and him alone, but guess not. So, what this skill does is, if you haven't been able to guess by the name of the skill, is you're gonna mimic somebody, and as like the show, you get to take form of another servant. You'd be like, how the hell is that gonna help me? I'm just gonna look like somebody else. Sure, you look like the servant, but you also get to play as that servant. So example, like you take the exact form of the servant you're taking. Like, if I was, actually, you'll see, I was gonna be like, for example, like, let's say I was going up against so and they're wearing so, I'm taking that exact look. But being that, you know, the odds are I'm going up against somebody with, yeah, just somebody else with a costume on, you'll see that I'm taking the exact form. So, that's exactly what you're gonna do. And people's gonna be like, okay, so you take their abilities. You're gonna get those same exact abilities with the same exact power. Now, here's where the potential is unlimited. Sure, you could guesstimate on how much power that's, you know, you have. It never officially tells you how much power you're taking from that servant, or how much, you know, look, like how much power is behind those skills. Much like online, you can see, like, you know, let's say I'm going to use the Hunting Dog Knight. The fuck is wrong with that name? Let's say online it's like, instead of 19.20 attack power, it's just, let's say 10.39 attack. Sure, you could see that and everyone would know, okay, he's using that skill, that's how much. But you can't see, like, the servant's regular stats, like how Lancelot has 1650 and defense of 1,500. Online, you don't get to see that, so you don't know how much power or defense that servant is ultimately packing. And that's pretty much what the abilities are like. You won't be able to see what the stats behind the abilities you're packing, so you don't exactly know how strong or weak they are. Plus, every time you choose, like, to do that, you have a random chance to hit any servant. You don't get to select what servant you take form of, it's just a random servant. And every time you choose a servant, let's say I hit Astolfo. 1 minute I'll have the Hippogriff Rush. The next time I spin him out, perhaps I won't even come anywhere close to tapping him, actually. Or tapping that skill. So it's like, shit. You can't exactly pinpoint how much power he's gonna have with him. He's taking a random form, he gets a new set of abilities every time, and you can't pinpoint any sort of power on him. Online, offline, I think this skill is perhaps the most overpowered skill, actually, just because you can't predict nothing about it, and it's very hard to estimate how much power he ultimately will have. Although it's not like he's gonna have hundreds and hundreds of, you know, power behind that attack. It's that simple fact why I say it's unlimited, because you don't know the full extent of it. It's completely unknown. So that is why I said he has unlimited potential compared to the other servants, is because he is the other servants. He can be anybody / everybody. He's literally Schrodinger's cat. And for those people who do not know what that is, go fucking look it up. I'm not explaining it. Actually, I am, because, you know, I brought it up, so I have to. And although it's irrelevant, Schrodinger's cat is really just a paradox. That's all it is. If I'm not mistaken, all it is a cat in a box. And do you leave that cat alone? The question is it dead or is it alive? You don't know because, well, you don't know. Although you'd assume it's dead, perhaps it's alive. It's one of those things, like it's a mindfuck, honestly. That's literally all it is the fact that you don't know, and there's no certainty to nothing. And if you want to learn more and stuff about it, go look it up. If you want, I'll even put it in the damn description. Look it up. I'm not a science major. I don't know. Fuck that noise. I just like referencing shit. Although I went and looked into it myself, but still, besides the point. Unlimited power, unknown power, alternately too overpowered and too badass. And then the final attack, the active skill, another Berserker skill, an area attack skill, which makes the second one for this build, which is the Arrow Knight. We have Submachine Gun Fire, one of my favorite skills, just because, much like our rider Drake, She gets to shoot shit. He gets to shoot shit. My literal one and only reason why I have him here. I don't think I need to explain what this gun or what this skill, does. Being it's literally a submachine gun. If you don't know what a submachine gun is, then you don't know anything. Being that guns are practically everywhere, so don't need to explain what a submachine gun does. But pretty much just has an attack of 1728 and a 9-second cooldown, and you're just gonna shoot dual machine guns at your opponents. That's it. Not flashy, but I mean it surely has a bang to it. Multiple bangs actually. And yeah, I went there. So with that being said, those are the skills I will use during this build. However, I'm also going to go over 2 more skills because I do recommend those just as well. First one is Hunting Dog Night. Although yes, it's nothing too flashy. All you're gonna do is you're gonna jump forward, and pretty much you're just gonna be jumping around and making you're spinning around with a pole in your hand and smacking the shit out of everybody. And that's it. You have a weapon and you're just smacking the shit out of somebody while you jump forward. It's a rush attack skill with a 1920 with a 12-second. And then the final skill is the Steel Pillar with a 21.60 and a 11-second cooldown. It's a close range attack skill, and all you're gonna do is you're gonna take a pole, smack the shit out of your opponent like 3 times at most. But if I wasn't to have the if I was to take and replace one of these skills, I was just probably gonna replace the Noble Phantasm and just put on Hunting Dog, because in my opinion, because of my playstyle, I just like having rush attacks. But for the most part, most of his things it's area attacks. So with that being said, we're moving on to his install skills. As you can tell, I was once playing as him, but shit happened, and yeah. And it don't matter what I was using there. So the first, we'll do this the same way: attack, defense, support, and then after we get the base build down, we're hitting what I would do with double skills as well, because that's how these go. So first off, let's go and tap up on the attack skill, and I'm going to first put Martial Blessing. If I have to explain this again, which I'm going to, without the attack skill or active skill, your servant is just like the other servant. So it's initially the active skills is what makes a servant unique. That's the reason why I constantly put it on there. It's just I don't have no flashy version of it. So next up, we have the rare occasions where the fuck is it? The H Spirit Slayer, because we're doing more power against servants. Next up, we're going to put the fairies on there, because Lancelot actually has a booster for the fairies. So the lower the health is, if it's under 30%, you get bonus damage, which I have plenty of these, so I'm going to put down, a better one of those. And then you'd be like, okay, there's that. And we're going to have bravery on there. Oops, not that one. Because, if you haven't been able to tell, all I'm doing is just boosting the shit out of his power. Which means, if you haven't guessed already, a natural body. And most of what I do with Lancelot is I'm boosting the shit out of his power, because, like I said, I feel like Berserkers should be super strong and have a real... they would pack a punch. So, and then this is where I would say to put Moondrive on there, increase attack power during Moondrive. But this is more of a personal opinion than where you need to make a big board decision and just, say, put that or follow what I'm about to tell you. Next, we're just going to have the base. We're going to have magic resistance. And then we're just going to have the obstinate, just so we could go and keep our defense up a little bit. What the fuck? Bam. Why the hell? Son of a bitch. That it? Anything else? I've been collecting too many skills. Shut up. But with that being said, if you haven't been able to guess, the final skill is just going to be a support skill, and that is simply going to be Berserker. Berserker or the Ruler, which both of them just increases area attack skills. And since half of our things is area attacks, we have a very unbalanced form of just fight, 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 like you see here, so very unbalanced toward all that, and shit, it don't work like that, son of a bitch. It's pretty much all aggression, that's all this is, especially since in the anime, Lancelot was stupidly aggressive toward Pendragon just because, like, whenever he went out to fight, the odds are he was just blunt, aggressive, ruthless fighting. There's no strategy, there's no form, it's just, I'm gonna tear this shit out of the ground, and I'm gonna beat the shit out of you with it. That's literally what he did there, and that's literally what I'm having him do here. So, pretty quick, pretty simple, and honestly, perhaps the easiest and shortest time I have taken to explain off the support skills, mainly because I've covered all these skills before, and like I said, the only reason why we have magic resist in here is because of his ability, his unique skill which enhances that, so, which is an E class, which is low, but still, I mean, the booster to have that +1 on there is always nice, plus magic resist is magic resist, so, although it's rare and, you know, not very often you see it, but it's any chance of any sort of elemental is going to increase the defense against that. And then Obstinate just because area attacks, and then, you know, the more you kill, the more power you get, just base natural attack power, lower your health get, the stronger you get, more power against enemy servants, and then just, you know, ultimate power with all your active skills. And then with that being said, we're going over to the double skills. This is where I'm going to put down just a basic, easy magic resistant institution. So once you die, you just come back with more health, really. So I'm pretty much putting like a high, like even like once you get your health below 30, I mean, mistakes happen, you'll die, so just in case, you know, we're just gonna put a booster on your life, you know, when you revive, just because it's smart. Next up, we're going to take Obstinate, replace it with the Obstinate anti-hero, because why not? It's perhaps one of the best ideas. We're going to put the Bravery with Imperial Berserker. So there we have 2 Braveries and a Berserker still. And then from here, we don't have any sort of riding skills, so there's no point of putting on the Martial Blessing with that. The only reason to do that is for more power toward the thing. With that being stated, I'm actually going to support Lancer with his Imperial body and natural body, and actually I'm just going to replace my, and we might as well just place down the Imperial Rider with it, because that's going to increase our power even more. And let me fix this up by putting Bravery back on the board. Where's Bravery? There we go. With this being said, we're also gonna just go down, find off the what is it at? Actually, we're gonna take off the Rider. And the only reason why I'm having Imperial Lancer is because that's the only double skill I know that has a that taps up on natural bodies. So, but we're actually gonna replace the Rider part with the Monstrous Strength. And then from there, we're just going to pretty much increase, we're going to put Spirit Slayer with the fairies, and that's going to actually boost that up more. And then that's all we're going to do. For the most part, we're just combining skills, we're just keeping the same skill set and just adding more power to it. the reason why I'm keeping these skills of all skills is I'm gonna tap on even more power, and I'm actually gonna take off the bravery, tap on martial blessing. And if honestly, this is where you make your bigger decision, because all the previous skills, the attack skills from the last build worked just fine. If you want to keep the fairies on, go and like replace it with martial blessing or whatever. It's honestly your choice. It's just because there's a booster to the fairies, I'm just gonna keep that up there. So that's why that's still up there over like martial blessing or whatever it may be. It's just because he has that boost, although it doesn't show that, that skill also gets the booster on it. That's because, the game purposely designed it to where it doesn't show it, because otherwise people would just tack on so many of the same thing. So it'd be like 11, 11, 11, 11 instead of the 10. It's just so that it's a mind game. But initially it still has that 11 on it. It's just so people don't just be absurd and tack on the same stuff. But for the most part, any of the previous attack skills on the previous build, the regular build, I would keep the last two up there just like that. It's more of a personal preference then, honestly. So if you prefer Spirit Slayer over the fairies, put that up there. If you prefer bravery over the martial blessing, which actually I'm gonna tack on that instead. The one time where I'm not going to directly just have, the one time where I'm not having martial blessing directly, where it's just gonna be tagged along with as a double skill, mainly because like I said, I vaguely do it, but when I do it I have a reason behind it. But that's just so that it's not specific to one thing. The bravery would increase everything. Attack power from regular attacks. It's pretty much combining both natural body and martial blessing just by killing shit. And that's exactly what I'm doing here. Plus, the fairies is exactly like that. But the difference is you don't have to kill shit, you just have to get killed yourself and get hurt. So literally, you're boosting your power, but killing and getting hurt. So pretty much the fatigue and the natural stuff from a war. You're not going to go unscathed unless if you're one of those, I must go and not get touched or whatever type deals, or however you want to go and be fancy and try to flex your muscles off. So this way you're gaining still massive amounts of power to both skills, while you're still and for just doing small little tasks is just not as specified. You're getting pretty much, imagine you're just tapping them both on, just a small requirement to get power to both of those. And that is the install skills I plan on using. Next up is going to be the costumes, and I only have 2 of his costumes. I did not buy the DLC costumes, so sorry about that, but yeah, no, I'm not wasting the money. But here is his pitch black armor. That smoke you see off is the reason that is there is during the anime, the smoke is, although we could still see his look, the smoke's actually there to deceive the opponent so they don't know who he is. So it's just kind of so that no one knows exactly who he is. That's the only reason there. And I assume during the anime, although we could see through the smoke, the people cannot. It's just so, it's supposed to be like, that smoke's constantly shrouding him and you can't exactly tell who he is. But I do love his black and dark blue. I've always thought that was a nice look for him just because. And honestly, that's a badass looking armor set. Just alone, his armor set looks badass. A very nice looking blue. So, and then his dark formal, which literally is him without his armor set, and presumably without, just pretty much something to show off his pretty hair and just who he is without the armor set. I don't really have too much of a preference on either one of these skins, so I could care less on which one I wear. And you see a lot of people wearing the pitch black armor either because they don't know how to get it or they're just too lazy to switch it. So the default is definitely a preference, but I mean just because I like his hair, I do that. But plus, it's his alternate, so I could care less which outfit to go. Plus, I would just like to make one mention. Who does not like him? He is so damn cute. I vaguely do this, but because of how cute he is while he does it, I'm going to his voices. I don't usually do this, but, you know, I'm just going to demonstrate. He's cute! How do you not like him? He's just so damn cute. Just, you're going up in a fight and... How do you not like that? Just... Although I don't think it's as cute in the show, you get the general gist. You just listen to him. He's just so cute. Although he doesn't say a damn word like everybody else, just that. It's just one of those things I enjoyed just because of how cute he sounds. So, I don't usually do it, but, you know, I just always found it to be cute, because he never, you don't hear nobody else do that, so. And he howls like a dog. So, I don't usually do that, but I'm making a rare exception, and if you can't tell, my support troops and all that has been based off of the anime he's from, which is Fate Zero. I do believe Zero was the first of all the different shows, so. And I am going to first change the side missions because I still care about that. Lowest. Damn, that's my lowest now. Huh. Well, if that's the case, then, somebody gets to do it. No, fuck off. I will switch you around, damn it. Alright. I will fuck up everything. Alright, there we go. And now we get... Yes, I am bothering to go and organize my people. Shut up. Yeah, fuck off. Oops. Who are you looking at? What the fuck are you looking at? As you can tell, when he's not in battle, the smoke is not there. That's also a fun fact. Can you stop staring at me? Although it looks like his armor is a little green, but it is in fact blue. Get away from me. I'm going to look away before I get distracted. But, yeah, he is from Fate Zero. And before I continue on, I am going to go and I have to do something, but I am going to quickly pull this up so you could see all the, just as a clarification on everything and what everything looks like and all that other stuff at max and stuff like that. So, just as one of those things, so when I step away from the controller, you know what it's for. So, study this, look at this, figure out stuff, and just in case, here you go. guys. I hope you got to study that really well, and unless I need to call out, you know, leave for a sec like I do occasionally. Yeah, last, you know, opportunity to see that stuff. And then the codecast for our Berserker. And although it is still funny to have Shinji up there, and it's one of the funniest damn codecasts in the game, we are not going to keep it. Sorry to disappoint, but we're not keeping it. So. But, I will say, definitely having a speed up there, with no doubt that's going to be one of those things up there. Speed and attack, like I said, a completely offensive build, but that's mainly because, you know, I like having stuff like that on him. Originally the build called for reduced earth, but not as important as some of the other things, so with all that being said, I will say, you know, usually I do like mana recarve or, you know, other things, but this case is not really needed. And the first option I would give, because this is one of those multiple option ones, is the Spirit Stone, because it gives all the elemental damage shit and all the different sorts of aggressive fighting styles, so time reduction, range, speed, and power. A very good choice in this instance. Or if you were to go for something else, if you want to go for a little more defensive, I would have went with the caster, because it gives you, you know, it's got, you know, it's more of the, not aggressive, it's just more of related more around the defense and drive stuff, which is a very good idea. So I definitely do recommend having the caster one with him. Kind of funny, the class that's one of the most powerful classes, like the Berserker, is going to take one of the weakest classes, you know, stat wise, as his codecast. But with that being said, I would go with the Berserker, but really there's not really too much of a difference in my opinion besides that and caster. The only difference is caster is a little more defensive, where the Berserker is more offensive. But at that same point, I mean, you could say the same about the rulers. They're just different install skills, so it's very hard to tell which ones you would really want to go with. So with that being said, I'm just gonna go with the base. Oops. Yeah, I'm just gonna go with the base Spirit Stone instead of trying to, you know, debate between my notes. I'm just gonna go with the Spirit Stone because that's the best. And as you can tell, I've already, you know, fixed up my side missions. And soon in the side missions, I will start putting down, like, much like my support troops, I'm gonna have like each character, like I'm gonna, let's say for example I'm using Zero, I'm gonna have Lancelot, Gilgamesh, as, you know, Pendragon. Then I'm gonna have the other characters to try to fill up the side missions with everyone from the show into that, you know, particular mission, or with the particular guide. So it's more specialized, and it's just, you know, so you get the grand scheme of who's where. So, and now that after seeing the little tip thing, or whatever the fuck you want to call it, pop up, fun fact, it looks like, if I'm not mistaken, although I do know Medusa's the next servant, she is a rider class. However, she don't actually have a mount. She has no riding ability. You don't ever get to see it. Fuck off. Fuck off. And like I said during Nameless's guide, the sword you see is in fact shown in the Noble Phantasm for Nameless. So, oops. Hey, Astolfo's here. See, I'm good at picking my missions. As you can tell, very slow. Even while swinging with this stuff, you can see how slow he is. Even with the booster of this is where he starts to actually get faster. And huh, that wasn't exactly what I was looking for. So let me tap on all the different attacks. Now you could kind of still, like, although he is faster, you will see he does in fact feel slower than the rest. That was the throw, the pillar throw. Although that wasn't too spectacular, it does have a little bit of range to him. The Arrow Knight, where he just, oops, I'm gonna take care of this bastard now. Get out of here. Now, if you're gonna be, not be so rude, I'm going to demonstrate the rest of everything else. That's the dash button. I honestly forgot if Ryder or if Medusa has a mount in the game. I was just merely pointing out in the show you never actually get to see her, using the riding skill ability at all. Like, it's one of those throwaway characters, like they did not know who to have type deals and killed her off too quickly before we get to see anything. But here is the Arrow Knight. This is what it's supposed to be, but instead, like, the area is only in front of him. It's just one of those things you have to be smart to not get caught within that move. As strong as it may be, you must be wise. A dead servant is what that is. Hey, look at that. And like I said, I'm gonna start doing the. I don't really say it too much. I do believe I said something about Drake in the last one. However, Lancelot is actually part of the like the King Arthur tales and legend. Like, he's like, that's literally a thing. He's not just thrown in there to be thrown in there. And hold on, let me pause this for a sec. I need to look check something. But yeah, no, Lancelot is actually referred to as Lancelot of the Lake. Fun fact. Pretty much, if I'm not mistaken, he is a, like, Lancelot is in fact a member of the Round Table. Like, that much is true. And son of a bitch, they're over here. And why don't I actually build up the, item? But the mimicry skill, here it goes. But Lancelot is actually Arthur's, king champion, and as you can tell, here I am talking about Medusa. Woohoo! No, so, oops. Like, notice how the abilities changed, and oh, hey, how are you doing? And it's all different because that's what it is. But see, he gets to control all her abilities instead, and that's literally all this skill is. Although it has no base power at all, and it has a 30-second cooldown, like I said, it's, power is honestly unbelievably, stupid. But if I'm not mistaken, Lancelot is the greatest knight in Arthur's court, and lover to and he loves the King Arthur's wife. Like, he straight up has an affair with her. It's one of the funniest damn things. So, and it's just one of those funny things that his greatest champion is his pretty much slept with his, it's like, hey, I'm your greatest character. Oh, well, guess what? I don't care. So, pretty funny if you ask me. So, let's see, who else can I draw out? As you can tell, last time I was Medusa, this time I take form of, Nameless. So, this is one of the very few times where I'm covering off multiple servants at once. And honestly, this is where his feet, like, although he's not fast himself, he can take control of someone who is fast. And he can do it pretty damn well, so. Total badassery, let me tell you. And despite, you know, his lack of ability and power, he still is pretty damn strong himself. And I don't... Fuck out of here. I'm gonna steal your active skill too. And now I'm turning back into Lancelot himself. But I will say, while you're transforming, you are allowed to get attacked. And his submachine guns, his best damn skill. Fuck off. I don't care about you. Fuck off. Oh, they weakened me. And this time I take form of Lilith or Elizabeth. It's funny because I'm taking control of almost everybody I've, you know, haven't taken control of before, or I've, you know, guided before. Fuck off. Get out of here. So, very funny. However, I will say, once the Noble Phantasm, once you achieve Noble Phantasm ranking with the, Lancelot, once you activate it with, like, let's say you use Mimicry, once you activate it, it will go back to Lancelot's. You cannot take somebody else's Noble Phantasm, though. Which, at least keeps everything fair. Because then that stops, you know, Lancelot from ultimately being by far way too overpowered. Because if he could take everyone else's Noble Phantasm, then on top of, you know, being able to have like an unlimited amount of Noble Phantasm at his disposal by just picking up a damn pole or a tree branch, honestly, can be noted as his Noble Phantasm. Because you could, you know, that can be a weapon, then, you know, things would literally be a bit overpowered and unfair for the opponent. And his drive skill, he literally pulls out a Gatling gun and shoots the shit out of you. How do you not like this character? He pulls out a Gatling gun on you. A fucking Gatling gun. Now shut up and quit whining. And although you like wanted to pull out, like, it pulled out Elizabeth even though she's not here, the only reason why he pulled her out is because sometime throughout this this map, I will run into Elizabeth. Actually, bottom right corner, you'll have you got Elizabeth right there, and Medusa, she wasn't on until now. The limit to Lancelot's mimicry is pretty much he could only pull out the look and the skills and abilities of the people in the match. So for say, I cannot pull out Rias's, like the caster Rias and anything he has. I cannot pull out, you know, Janae's stuff because she's not in this battle. She's not going to be able to be pulled out. However, anybody else, you got luck of the draw. So at this point, even if they're not on the board, they can be pulled out. That bitch. Gatling on your, or machine on your ass. And his Noble Phantasm. One of my personal favorites. Which this is from the anime itself. One of the very few times where I actually can say they took the Noble Phantasm from the anime and, you know, or something from the anime and clarify this is in fact something from the anime and they did bring it here. Compared to something made special for the game. Who doesn't like that? Give me a... Can I get a Astolfo this time? No, I got, also I think your support troops also have a play of who you could play as, because as you can tell, I took form of Pendragon, and if I'm not mistaken, she's not even a part of this battle. I don't think she's introduced until later on in specific missions, so. Another reason why support skills or support troops matter, because they also give you the chance of who you play as, so. So here's a preview of Arturo before I actually pull her out of the skill set. Oh cool, I do have Excalibur. Although you will not, you know, hear any of the characters like Pendragon. She does in fact say you know, Excalibur when she uses the move. However, in this instance, he still will not speak. Much like in the anime when he took in over the look of Iskandar, he did not ever speak a word because I don't think he can. But fuck out of here. Oh man, screw job. I was hoping to pull something on my ass with that. And I take the form of Lilith again. Fun. Go to sleep. As you can tell, my skill set changed. Now I don't, you know, now I got the skills I didn't have this time. Like I said, I will have a different set every time I pull something out. So, this is where I say his skill set is unlimited, and he may have the lowest power, but he definitely does have the most potential as a servant. So, that's why I said he makes as the deadliest servant in the game. So, direct power, not quite. But everything else though, Sir Lancelot, is that you? Bullshit, you don't know who I am. And yes, Gaiwen is also a part of the round table, I think. I'm pretty sure. I'm gonna make sure to cover him, you know, him and his bullshit later, so. Can I, who am I got the look of? Oh cool, I got Nameless again. As you can tell, I'm pulling out different, you know, abilities this time. With Nameless again. And no, it will not rotate in a pattern as of who gets what. It's just the simple fact of, that's just kind of the, you know, I just randomly got those characters. And before I leave this behind, I'm gonna grab that, although I don't need it, I just like pulling it out. I will say, Lancelot is one of the very few servants where I will watch the Noble Phantasm almost all the time. Unless if I'm in a PvP match, I almost guarantee you I watch it every time. Just because of how much fun it is. So. Okay, I thought so. I just didn't want to make the assumption because, you know, although it's fun to learn this stuff, it's one of those things that you got to, I don't want to go and take the assumption and, you know, not actually be right, because, yeah. It'd be funny for someone to try to tell someone something when that's not actually true. I hate to misinform. If I'm not mistaken, he's gonna spawn right around here. Oh, cute! He's in the middle of battling. Yeah, he sounds like that. This is why you can't take him serious. Boing. Come here, Dick. Come on, you wanna fight? Come on, let's go. This got to piss people off online. I wonder if oh shit! I wonder if I did that to people online, how pissed they would get. Like, I don't fight, I don't do nothing besides, you know, circle around the whole time. I wonder how much I'd piss somebody off. Because they're trying so hard to hit, but they can't actually touch me. I told you, I watch this almost all the time because it's always fun, and he sounds so damn cute, so... You can suck it. Plus, who doesn't like seeing him go and pretty much kamikaze that shit? That's literally what he's doing. Oh, cool, this time I pulled out a Gilgamesh. And I pulled out, yay! Of course I get a stall for last minute. Cody, what's the bitch? Oh, and I got Hippogriff Flush. Oh, man. Yes, I'm doing a guide for Lancelot, but here I'm gonna just be a complete dick and just, you know, trash them as... Besides one skill, this is literally my loadout for Astolfo. That is hilarious. Holy shit, this is getting out of control. I take control of the Astolfo and I fucking wreck him fast, and I wrecked him as... I don't know. Oh, that was hilarious. It took me no time at all to wreck him as Astolfo, but he doesn't try to showboat either. He stands up. He's like, oh, I bad posture. Time to fix that. To think he's voiced by a girl. That's funny. Look at that, literally just that easy. And clearly, like I said, my power level, like, you know, with how quickly I was dispatching of some enemies, I wasn't doing it, you know, super fast. But the second I got a servant I was good with, that changed real quickly. Plus, you know, by the time that's done, you can't predict anything as of where I'd be at. Literally, it's so hard to predict, you know, anything. So if you're good with multiple servants, and if you could juggle around servants like this, literally Lancelot would probably be one of the best picks, especially if you, although you don't get the skills you like, but if you like a good 95% of them, you could literally jump around a good 95% of the time. And when you jump around, you know, you're hitting like Nameless. I love playing as Nameless. Nero, good with her. Astolfo, clearly I'm good with him. Not with my 100 some plays as him, but you know. That's where I say he has a stupidly high amount of power, because he could jump back and forth, and if, you know, you jump back and, like, if you have a support troop that you're good with, like, that's where Lancelot's one of the only exception. I would say choose, you know, if you were to be like, okay, who to choose, and you're not going for like a themed battle like I was, choose characters you're good with. Like, if I wasn't trying to be funny and theme this with a, you know, Fate Zero, literally what was gonna happen was I probably would have put Astolfo in there, and the odds are I was also gonna put fuck off. Probably gonna put somebody else I like in there, probably Karna, just because I like him, and you know, he looks real damn nice. But I would have put another servant I'm good with. Actually, Gilgamesh, Atora, both of them I would have been happy with playing as anyways, so. But literally, you would take form of them as well with that chance of taking them. Although it's not as good of a chance, you will in fact take them. So let me create the room here. Instead, actually, I could get to, you know, search for one. I highly doubt anything's going to be up, but still. No room. Go figure. And quick match. Highly doubt anybody would be here. But my policy never changes. I look around just to look around. Oops. No, fuck off. No. No. Damn it. Don't you start with me. So that means I just need to create the room this time. But with that being said, we have that going on with them, and now we go over to, hey, look at that, yet another servant in the order. Thank you. See how, look at how convenient that is. And as you could tell, actually you can't tell because it's not changed. So here is the online. Like, this is where I would differ my offline from my online. I don't do it too much, but there is cases where I will change them. So the first skill I will say is instantly I'm putting on Mimicry, because like I said, although the cooldown is higher than it would be, I'm throwing that on there because that random chance of, you know, that brief change of servants can honestly give me the upper hand in the minute, because like I said, even with that boss battle against Lancelot as Lancelot, the second I took control of Astolfo, that changed the tide of that battle completely in like a matter of seconds. Where, you know, it was a pretty fair fight, you know, it wasn't going too fast, it wasn't going too slow, it was just a steady pace. I took control of somebody else and I zoomed through his health like it was nothing. Which is why I actually have 2 sets of builds with Lancelot here. And I'm not gonna show and save them both. Not until after I get all my actually I'm gonna put down another set for Lancelot, and I recommend, if you are gonna keep both recommendations on install skills to do exactly what I'm about to do and stuff like that. Assuming you didn't make the same oopsies as I did, and before I get into this, I'm just gonna do that. Like, I'm gonna go over the install skills and show off how, besides the blank skill, which is just kind of like the ultimate all-rounder skill, like the very first skill, like install skill set you will see is my all-arounder, just nothing too special, just it's right here ready to go. But as you can see, I clearly started naming off each person. But besides that, you would notice that Charlemagne and Nero is down here. That's my oopsies on where it is. But if you didn't make that oopsies in there with the rest, I would go to the end of the list. In my case, it would be skill set number 26 and put the secondary skill set on there. Oopsies, oopsies. Prepare for battle. And there we go. But I'm just going to tell you that now, if you want to keep both sets, and actually, this is the rare time where I will actually go and do 2 battles in one. So you could see both skills in action instead of just a base one. So, going back to the active skills, before I get too carried away and probably forget to put on the rest of them, although they're not as necessarily needed in the fight, they are still a very huge part. Even if I do have mimicry and I could just pretty much pull out skills out of my ass like it was nothing, that chance of being no, having that. So, first I'm going to put on Steel Pillar. This has a 20 attack with 12 second. And then I am going to put down the Hunting Dog Knight, because I want to put more speed to him, and it's going to be, at the very least, he may not be as fast, but I'm also trying to make it to where it's harder to catch him at that same point. And when you do have him up in your face, you better hope to hit him and knock him out of his ability real quickly. And that's the goal. I would do the Iron Knight because of his power, but the biggest problem is how slow it is, and the odds are your opponent can easily jump out of the way compared to something like Steel Pillar, which is, you know, similar, where it's, you know, right in their face. The only difference is they may jump in the way, or, you know, they may get one hit in before it gets knocked out and, you know, deactivated. So at that very least, you have a better shot. Or it's just one of those all or nothing type of deal. This is 50, you know, you get some, you don't type deal. So that's why I'm saying to keep that. And this is the final skill would be the Steel Pillar throw. So pretty much you have Lancelot in an all-around situation. He's in, you know, close range, far range, you know, rush range, and, you know, hard to reach type deal, to where he's up in your face, but at the same point he's going to be trying to move in a more rapid succession. And then mimicry. If you don't want to do that, I would also recommend having, I'm taking out Pillar Throw in exchange for the Gunfire because I like his guns. So, but either which way, all those skills are the best in my opinion, or those 5 skills are the best for online. But if you don't like the submachine guns and how they work, and they're not very strong, it's just more one of those skills of it catch your opponent in a move and you're not right on top of them, so the odds are you're not going to get hit, so you have a better shot of interrupting that move. Plus on top of that, it's got a wider range, it's got a different effect to it, and it's 14 damage per hit. So per bullet you're taking 14 damage. So you just pretty much, it's not going to take like a significant amount of health, but it's going to take a decent amount of health. So with that, it's not like a 14 all around, and even if that was just 14 period, you will have, you know, 2.40 more than you would. Oh yeah, plus you would also get locked into place. Good point. So with that, I mean, it's also kind of like a stun lock ability, and once their opponents, you know, once it's done, I'm pretty sure it launch your opponent up into the air, and they're gonna have to catch himself, and that would give you enough time to activate another move, or, you know, put him into a stun lock of some sort with the regular attacks. So a bit annoying. So, but with that being said, we go on to the install skills, and this is the regular set I'm gonna put in, and I'm just gonna name this one. Oops. This one's just gonna be, oops, motherfucker. square. I'm just gonna tap Lancelot on there. Now, this is where this is where you're gonna have to follow me with this one, because I'm talking about two separate skills. We're gonna tack on to the last skill, and we're gonna put Lancelot again. Bam. Now the difference between this one and the last one is we're gonna put something like, let's say 2 on there. Or in this case, I'm actually gonna put an A or a B or something. No, I'm gonna put Lancelot B on here. Oh yeah, I hate how the controls are different from everything else. But label it off something to where you know that's an alternate usage. And I will cover that in a second. So instead of just having like a regular Lancelot, just put something on there that you can tell the difference in. So, but first I will say, because there's no particular active skill he has, or any particular skill, it's all been rounded up. We're putting reduced earth and mana recovery on him. Independent action extends drive time, but that's not as important because, I mean, I'll put it on there for the time. Actually, no, I'm taking that off. Fuck that noise. At that same point, it's one of those things you have to choose. Next, we're gonna put Anti-Hero and Obstinite because I like adding or actually, we're gonna just take off Obstinite altogether because Obstinite is an all-arounder. It doesn't do as much because, actually, you can't even look at the powers limits on each of these. It's a complete random, like, you don't know how much each of these are doing, so what the hell is it going on? Okay, that's funny. But with that being said, it's going to only prove off that, you have a random amount. And if I'm not mistaken, Obstinite is weaker than Anti-Hero, but since you don't need like Obstinite, which does defense for everybody, because the base opponents, if I'm not mistaken, they actually do not attack. Oh. Okay, I'm stupid. Alright, let me demonstrate. Obstinite is a tad bit weaker. Oh, that explains why I couldn't do it, is because I was putting them in. Okay, I'm stupid. Okay, so, no, thank you for pointing that out, actually. But, as you can tell, there's a small bit of difference between the two defenses. And although they're like, okay, why not just, tack on a complete, an 18 or a 28.6 on their defense. Because although, yes, you got that bit of difference, I prefer to just, Anti-Heroes, specific to one thing, and honestly, having the extra bit of defense is nice, but it's, honestly, if there is space, which the odds are, looking at my notes, if I'm not mistaken, there will not be. Because we're putting Bravery, Martial Blessing, Fairies, Spirit Slayer, and Natural Body. So pretty much a very similar build to my offline build, with a very aggressive. The reason why we don't have anything else, like any sort of skill specific like Imperials on here, is because we're gonna boost up his speed, even if it's by a little bit. Try to keep that speed up, and then the mana recovery is to boost up defense and the attack power even more. So with that being said, that's what I'm doing for Lancelot's first set. Now this is what I'm doing for Lancelot's second set. Because of how he is built, I'm putting Imperial Ruler in there. Imperial Ruler / Imperial Berserker. Either one works. If not both, I'm going to put down Imperial Rider as well, which is also covered up in Imperial Lance, which, I'm also putting Imperial Caster, Imperial Archer, and although you could have either Assassin or a Saber, and we're going to go for a huge hit on all of these. It's like, wait, he doesn't even, there's no need to have something like Caster with, increased burst attacks, because he doesn't have any burst attacks. The reason why I'm doing this as a secondary build is because when you switch the characters, you're gonna still have the booster on each one of these characters. The skill may change, your active skills may be changing, but your install skills never change. So you're boosting up each of these even more. And now we tap over to the Martial Blessing, Fairies, and now to boost everything up even more, we're gonna put down, we're not really boosting, let me fix this up, boom, there we go. And now we got, you know, more power on our character altogether, plus we're covering every last aspect with more power. So no matter what you do and no matter who you change into, you're all around, and you could pretty much hit even harder with each character, no matter who you may be taking up as your character for the time being. Although it's not going to happen as much, it's one of those things. And then anti-heroes, so you could take less damage, be like, bitch, please, and continue on. That is secondary Lancelot. That's what I was showing you, and I will do the original Lancelot first, and when I go to switch Lancelot, oops, bitch. Okay, alright, come on. And when I go to do Lancelot B, I will switch my dimension, my mystic codes, which there's a reason behind. We're switching that up because there's going to be a difference between the two mystic codes. And I'm actually going to wear my dark formal because I wore my pitch black. Like I said, I don't mind either one. So with that being stated, that's what I'm doing here. I was about to say motherfucker. But with that being stated there, I'm switching up the mystic code as well so that the opponent, so that you really, like, I'll explain why I'm switching mystic codes as well with the set of my setup as well. So with that being said, I've given people, let me see if anyone's online real quick. Nobody that plays this besides one, and well, they're already with me. So with that being stated, no one's joined at this point anyways, so, and because, son of a bitch, how to do this? Alright, so, I am going to, this is one of the very few times where I am not going to mirror match the teams. Usually I do, but I'm not going to this time. I'm going to, who am I, okay. I'm going to tap on the Berserk, Lancelot on their team to match out my Lancelot. And then from here, I'm just going to tap on the, hold on, is there? I'm going to tap on Atora on here. I'm going to tap on Gilgamesh. Fuck off. And I'm going to put on Iskandar for this. Only because there's not a full set of servants on the side. Otherwise, I'd make this a sustain 0 against 0 against Apocryphia. And where is he? And we need Karna up in here. And the only, it's Astolfo I was looking for. I thought I put, there we go. So we pretty much evened everything out, sort of. So, at this rate, it's gonna be funny. Nah, that's not fair, honestly. Fuck this noise. It would work if, the team was evened out with, the character servants, but it's fine. I don't mind at all, so. Actually, I'm just gonna tap that on there and keep that on there. That's Gilgamesh? Yeah. I'll compromise. And I'll replace Iskandar with Astolfo, Rider for Rider, and yeah. And besides, who doesn't like Astolfo on the team anyways? But there's a fourth member, and so to keep it fair. Otherwise, I would have still went and did a season versus season, and that would have been badass as hell, but, not exactly happening here. And as you can tell, I could have easily put down multiple versions of one character, and was fun in that. Plus, I could be a little hectic, actually. So. Actually, I'm curious to see what Soul has on his character. Oh, you just had the base Janae. Oh, that's so lame. How you doing? Oh shit. Owie. So as you can tell, it's even after getting Astolfo, I definitely changed the course of the battle a little bit, but I could have probably been more efficient if, you know, the order of my skills is what I'm used to, but one of those chances you take. One of those few things that's like, yeah, it works, but... Oh shit, she caught me! I thought she was moving. Shit! And as you can tell, that did massive amount of damage. And, you know, a very aggressive playstyle and yoink. And I chose you! Hey, look at who I choose again. That did not work. I was hoping that after using that ability it would have took in, you know, did that parry, but I see, clearly I don't know how to use the parry skill, and I just proved it. That's why you never see me using any sort of parry skill or any skill like that, so. As a heads up toward everyone, that is exactly why I don't do that. So where's the fucking thing at? Where is the... Oh, it's down there. That is such a small-ass circle. How are you expecting to see that? You literally have to go and see everyone there to realize it's there. How the hell? Rah. It's so cute. Where's the... Oh, the circle's right here. How the fuck do you expect anyone to do anything? Hiya. Oh, shit. Ow. I just got yeeted. I thought I came up there unexpected and nope. Just bam, get off there. Oh. Wow. That's so cute though. Owie. That backfired. Okay, fuck this. I'm out. Out of a dash again. That's the Billy. As you can tell, you know, I've been playing a lot of other games, so I'm like, shit. So as of dashing around and stuff like that, I'm a bit disorienting. I keep forgetting what is what. Oh shit, yeah, put the damn circle next to the ruler tower. Thanks, game. Up yours. It's up yours, game. Alright. And I am taking your form, you bitch! Hey, I actually did. Ha! That was so funny. I didn't even predict. I didn't actually think I would. Oh shit! Actually, suck a nut. Come at me, bitch. Go kick. Oh, that still got me. I thought my health was high. Oh, it must have ran out of. Ah, son of a bitch! It ran out of juice. I thought my drive skill was still activated. Son of a bitch! That would have been funny. But as you can see, I told you I wasn't exactly the best as Lancelot, but that's, you know, he's literally the, you know, jack of all trades. Like, he literally has everything under his belt. But at that same point, he's more of one of those things, like, if you mastered him, that's how you get him. And you can kind of control the direction of which his slashes go, although it's not, you know, like everybody else. Is like if you, where it's, you know, you have to turn and do it. No, if you click, you know, if he's going forward, you have to click back, and then after you click back, he's gonna instantly go that way instead. Although he's not moving anywhere to progress, he is in fact moving. One of the very few times where I don't get ace. I told you I sucked as him, but still. And with that, I am going to prepare battle again for the secondary loadout. Well, not loadout. The skills, they stay the same. Unless if you prefer to switch out the skills, which is completely fine. But here I am going to switch out to Lancelot B, which in my, you know, which is my set. And now the change is, I'm going to change my look to, you know, represent the change of the change of set. So it's not like one of those. Did he change it? He's still in the same thing? No. We're going with the Dimension Sword instead of the Ceremonial Sword because it's time reduction. That's the only reason why we're changing it here. Although we're not going to be as fast, this is a pure powerhouse, aggressive play now. So the reason why I'm doing time reduction is because instead of waiting 45 seconds, I wait less time, and then I'm going to be able to smack up the looks, or not looks, but smack up on everything again. And, who am I picking for? Okay. And much like last time, I'm going to throw on the same two servants of Lancelot and Janae, because that's who's up there. Then I'm actually going to smack up Saber in there, because fuck it, why not? And I'm going to throw in a caster to even out the power. I'm going to even out the power here. So it's not just pure power, not pure whatever. It's very, just to keep things pretty legitimately evened out upon everything, so. This also should give you a better idea, like, of everything, because it has a ruler class, which is, well, the ruler, and it just has a little bit of everything instead of just the same few things. Although you would think, why didn't you put like a archer up in there so you could utilize the archer skill? Remember, each one of those skills is just pretty much a certain move type. Like burst skill, Tomino has one of those, actually a few of those if I'm not mistaken. And you know, it's just to utilize, you know, each skill is just each skill. Then nothing too, you know, spectacular about it. But this entire build is centered and, you know, specialized about taking and using the different abilities of each person. Nothing too special. Ow, bitch! There we go. Although, you know, it's not exactly the most effective, and this is definitely not my, you know, forte of how to do everything, it still works. Although I'm not exactly familiar with any of these you know, half of these moves, but still. This is definitely keeping everything, you know, at bay at the very least. Plus, I mean, I get to keep it's a very well balanced match here. But as you can tell, I've definitely managed to keep everything up at a fair pacing of everything, so. And I'm slowly raising my power level, beyond raising. And the goals, the reason why I switched the Mystic Codes is so I could constantly change out my, so I could change out everything and keep, son of a bitch, she used the move against me. Get out of my magic circle, bitch. But the, initially the goal was to, be able to switch out my opponent at any time. On my character, so I could just rapidly, hit everybody in a succession instead of just one thing or with that random shot, I change all the time. Although I don't think going up to a caster class tower would change the outcome of anything, it still does, have its effects. Plus, I could activate shit like this too, and, the usage of what I'm pulling out is not going to be as strong. And then the feeling of I have to, use the Mystic Code to heal is, swapped out. So it's pretty much a ridiculous amount of spam, honestly. So it definitely keeps the opponent up on the toes. Although, yes, I'm not performing it as well, but still. I'm gonna blow everything up now, because fuck it, why not? Because I can. My literal reason for doing that. Ow. Although I can still get killed, it's just much harder for me to get put down. And that was the intent of goal. And that's why, if even online or offline, that's where I would put, choose like the carry Tomino as well. Although it's not as needed, that the build is more for an online oriented build. That's honestly what that was meant for. Is so that when you play online, you have a better shot of pulling out, some more of a supportive role and stuff like that. Oh shit. The fuck out of here. And as you can see, I swapped back to oh shit. I switched back, so I'm no longer just playing as one character, and now I took the form of Tomino again. Ow. I got rejected that time, just completely, no, we ain't having this. Oh well. But I mean, maybe other players could put a better use of it. Me, honestly, I can't. But as you can tell, the difference between this match and last match, although I may not have won, the bar on my side definitely went up more than it did beforehand. Plus, I did get the ace of the match on my side. So, one of those things that, although it's not exactly important, you can tell there's a difference between play styles. And as you can tell, it was oriented more around one particular move over everything else. It's pretty much one of those unlimited power based builds. That's all it was, just so you could never, when you're playing online, by the time you're done with the match and the match is over, the odds are you won't need to go and pull out all Mystic Codes and whatever, and you can just pretty much use those off. And once you turn back to Lancelot, although your other skills are up for use and stuff like that, you could quickly switch back over to another server instead of that chance of, your timer still being up and you need to you have to wait around and hope not to die and stuff, and for that to, be popped back up for you. Plus, as you can tell, most of the time I kept pulling out Tomino, and I definitely made it much harder to go and keep and put my life down as well, which is why if you did take a build like this offline for whatever chance you had of needing it, you put someone like Tomino and you could always pull out that, supportive skill and just kind of heal yourself up. But since offline is not as useful because you could easily pull it out of like a health container or a mystic code, it's not as efficient and useful, but it still is a very useful set if you want to orient to having if you want to orient around changing up how things are played. How to Tomino Part 2. Although I have thought about making a secondary guide on Tomino, and I've been thinking about doing guides on everybody else again, which there is a chance I will be doing that. I will say that's only gonna happen after I get done with the other servants, or if someone asks me to provide another guide before Saturday. Like, Saturday is going to be the official day where I post the guide. However, if someone made a request like, hey, and if they make a request, I'll try to put it in within the week. However, this is my request policy. I must get a request from somebody I've already done. For instance, I will not go and do a guide for Lu Bu if he's not the, I will not do that until he is, being completed, because I don't want to go and hop from Tomino all the way over to one side of the roster, just be like, oh wait, I've already done him? Shit. It's just so that there's more order within doing everything. However, if it's like, today I played Lancelot, someone's like, hey, you mind redoing Charlemagne, which I've actually had a huge amount of, I've been considering redoing his anyways, mainly because he's the only one who actually has a video under his name and not the stream like, is doing now. And I feel like it may do better if he did have the stream on him, so that it's not split up and harder to view and stuff like that. So, but that's my request policy. If you want to go and, want a guide, it would be sometime throughout the week. If you don't see it within the week, the odds are I'm not going to do it. Or it's just, I was busy the week and the request is going to wait. But I will only cover servants I've already covered beforehand. So it's just a secondary covering of that previous servant. So don't try to, request somebody I've yet to, take and cover. So, and with that being said, next week I'm going to be doing Medusa, and yeah, I will say that is the end of the stream. I'll see you guys in the next one.